What is the true, terrifying price of baseball immortality? Is it measured in luxury tax dollars, in gallons of sweat left on the bullpen mounds, or in the literal bones of the men who take the ball every fifth day to carry the hopes of an entire city? Welcome back, baseball fans, to another explosive, deeply emotional edition of our exclusive coverage from the Philadelphia Phillies 2026 Spring Training Camp down in the sun-drenched high-stakes fields of Clearwater, Florida. Today, we are not just talking about pitch grips, launch angles, or standard roster moves. We are talking about the ultimate physical sacrifice, the terrifying fragility of a baseball dynasty, and a legendary warrior who literally gave up a piece of his own skeleton for one last shot at ultimate glory. We need to talk about the undisputed stoic ace of this pitching staff, Zack Wheeler. Last September, as the grueling marathon of the season took its toll, Wheeler underwent thoracic outlet decompression surgery, a brutal, highly invasive procedure that actually required the surgical removal of one of his ribs just to alleviate the crushing pressure on his nerves and blood vessels. Just let that sink in for a moment. We often talk about athletes leaving it all on the field, but Wheeler left a piece of his anatomy on an operating table to ensure he could continue to paint the corners of Citizens Bank Park. Now, as we stand here on Friday, March 13th, 2026, the city of Philadelphia has been holding its collective breath, waiting for any sign of hope regarding their leader. And today, the baseball gods have finally smiled upon the Delaware Valley. The monumental news breaking out of camp is that Wheeler is officially graduating from throwing isolated bullpen sessions to facing actual hitters in live batting practice this coming Saturday. This is not just a minor step in a rehab protocol. This is a massive, triumphant leap forward that defies medical logic. Originally, the front office and medical staff had circled May 1st on the calendar as a wildly optimistic best-case scenario for his return to the major league mound. But Wheeler, operating with the sheer willpower of a man possessed, is obliterating that timeline. He completed his fifth bullpen session this past Tuesday, and his progression has been nothing short of miraculous. The psychological impact of seeing number 45 back on the bump, staring down hitters, cannot be overstated. For a clubhouse that relies so heavily on his quiet, dominant presence, this news is an absolute adrenaline shot straight to the heart of the franchise. But it also begs a terrifying question. Are the Phillies rushing their most prized possession? Or is Zack Wheeler simply built differently than the rest of us mere mortals? To truly grasp the magnitude of Wheeler's accelerated timeline and what it means for the luxury tax cap hit and the locker room chemistry, we have to look at the historical context of his greatness and the existential dread looming over this franchise. When asked about the possibility of taking it slow to preserve his surgically repaired arm, Wheeler delivered a quote that perfectly encapsulates his bulldog mentality. "If I am ready to step on the field, I will be ready to step on the field." I don't think this year is any different from any other year where I am trying to preserve myself for October. That is the mindset of a cold-blooded assassin. And when you look at his postseason resume, you understand exactly why October is all that matters to this organization. In 12 career playoff appearances for the Phillies, Wheeler has compiled a microscopic 2.18 ERA and a 0.73 WHIP across over 70 innings of work. Those are not just good numbers. Those are legendary, inner circle Hall of Fame caliber statistics that rival the greatest October performers in the history of the sport, echoing the sheer dominance of a prime Madison Bumgarner or Curt Schilling's bloody sock game. But here is where the narrative takes a deeply emotional and terrifying turn for the Philadelphia faithful. Wheeler is currently entering the second year of a massive 3-year, $126 million contract. When pressed recently on local sports radio about his future beyond the 2027 season, he dropped a bombshell that sent shivers down the spines of fans across the globe. He openly discussed the very real possibility of retirement, citing the looming labor negotiations and the physical toll of the game, stating, "Never say never, it's still all up in the air." Suddenly, the ticking clock of the Phillies' championship window becomes deafening. The fan base is completely fractured on how to handle this delicate situation. Half of the city is screaming for the front office to wrap Wheeler in bubble wrap, keep him in a hyperbaric chamber until August, and unleash him solely for the playoff push to protect their investment. The other half is terrified that without him anchoring the rotation in April and May, the team might dig themselves a hole too deep to climb out of in the ultra-competitive National League East. Every single pitch he throws in this rehab process carries the weight of a franchise's desperate desire to get this man the World Series ring he so deeply deserves. If he suffers a setback, the cap hit and the emotional devastation could derail the entire 2026 campaign before it even truly begins. But while the spotlight burns brightly on Wheeler's surgically repaired shoulder, the rest of the Philadelphia rotation is quietly orchestrating a symphony of dominance that could completely alter the landscape of the National League and shift the balance of power in baseball. If Wheeler is the heart of this staff, Aaron Nola is the soul, and the longest-tenured Philly is pitching like a man with a massive, undeniable chip on his shoulder. After enduring a statistically frustrating campaign in 2025, Nola took the mound against the Mexican national team in a high-stakes exhibition and absolutely carved them into pieces. He tossed 5 flawless, scoreless innings, but it wasn't just the results that had scouts dropping their jaws. It was the radar gun. Nola was consistently touching 94 miles per hour with his fastball, a velocity threshold he only crossed 3 times during the entire previous regular season, and not until late August. When Aaron Nola has that kind of life on his heater to pair with his devastating knuckle curve, he transforms from a solid innings eater back into a legitimate Cy Young contender. And the front office didn't stop there. In a masterstroke of roster management and financial wizardry, the Phillies completely eliminated any looming distractions by locking up the electric left-hander Jesus Luzardo to a monstrous 5-year, $135 million contract extension that kicks in starting in 2027. This is a monumental shift in the franchise's long-term strategy. By securing Luzardo, they have guaranteed an elite, top-of-the-rotation presence for the next half-decade, effectively creating a brilliant insurance policy against Wheeler's potential retirement. The locker room chemistry impact of this move is absolutely immeasurable. Players thrive on stability, and knowing that the front office is willing to open the checkbook to keep their core intact sends a powerful message. We are here to win right now, and we are here to win tomorrow. Imagine the psychological burden lifted off Wheeler's shoulders, knowing that he doesn't have to carry the entire rotation on his back. If Nola is throwing 94 mph darts, and Luzardo is pitching with the security of a 9-figure contract, the Phillies have constructed a 3-headed monster that can go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers, the Braves, or anyone else foolish enough to stand in their way. As we look toward the immediate future, the depth of this pitching staff is about to be tested on both the local backfields and the grandest international stages, creating a perfect storm of anticipation. This afternoon, the 22-year-old phenom, Andrew Painter, will take the mound for his 3rd spring training start against the Baltimore Orioles. While his strikeout numbers haven't been eye-popping just yet, the underlying metrics are absolutely fascinating. He is shattering bats, inducing weak contact, and proving that his stuff plays at the highest level despite his youth. He represents the ultimate bridge to the next generation of Phillies baseball, a homegrown talent ready to inherit the throne. Meanwhile, under the bright, unforgiving lights of Miami tonight, Christopher Sanchez, the man projected to take the ball on opening day for Philadelphia, will face the ultimate pressure test. He is taking the mound for the Dominican Republic in a do-or-die World Baseball Classic quarterfinal matchup against a hungry Team Korea. How Sanchez handles the suffocating pressure of an international elimination game will tell us everything we need to know about his readiness to anchor this staff while Wheeler finishes his rehab. The scenarios playing out right now are the stuff of baseball legend. If Sanchez dominates tonight, if Painter continues his steady ascent, and if Wheeler makes a triumphant, healthy return by mid-April, the Philadelphia Phillies will possess an armada of arms capable of steamrolling through the grueling 162-game schedule. But if the injury bug bites again, the entire house of cards could collapse, leaving the front office scrambling for answers. Now, I turn it over to you, the absolute most passionate, educated, and fiercely loyal fan base in the entire sport. What is your reaction to Zack Wheeler's accelerated timeline? Are you thrilled he is pushing the envelope, or are you terrified of a potential setback? How do you feel about the massive Jesus Luzardo extension, and do you believe Aaron Nola's velocity spike is here to stay? Drop your boldest predictions, your deepest concerns, and your ultimate rotation rankings down in the comments section below. I read every single one of your insights. If you crave this level of elite, uncompromising baseball analysis, do me a massive favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a breaking story from Clearwater. Stay loud, stay faithful, and as always, let's go Phillies!